What's going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this beautiful Friday morning, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing out here? What are you guys doing right now on a Friday morning while you're tuning in here to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Big shout out to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got Mikey, we got Michael, we got Silver Wolf. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're going to have a fun-filled show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk everything, or at least for the most part, right? Our offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We finally heard from them. We finally heard what they sounded like, right? And that is Nick Rawley's as well as Drew Patzing. So I'm excited, right? I'm excited to see what you guys are feeling about the new core right now. Yes, we do have multiple other positions that have already been filled up, right? And if you're talking about like DB coach, why that type of stuff, yes. I don't really focus too much on a lot of the assistants, right? The main people that are under the microscope is the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator. Like that's the truth. Now we are starting to fill it in, so it's definitely a good time right now to obviously, stay on top of things, right? Definitely stay on top of things, and figure out what this 2023 roster is going to look like. We have a lot of great things coming our way. I know this is the offseason. Most people don't even want to talk about the Cardinals right now, and that's completely fine. Most people's minds are on the Phoenix Suns, which rightfully so, right? We should have been getting KD today, at least playing against the Thunder, but it seems like he is going to be delayed. I heard until maybe Tuesday of next week. I'm not 100% sure on that, but hopefully we can start seeing Kevin Durant with the Phoenix Suns because, man, it's long overdue at this very moment. But focusing on the Arizona Cardinals here, we got some dates for you guys to go ahead and, mark on your guys' calendar. We got the franchise tag dates. It's already open right now. That's supposed to be from February 21st to March the 7th. I don't foresee the Arizona Cardinals franchise tagging anybody personally. Now, if they do, I would be very surprised if they did. But any other teams, right, that are looking to get those big players, in a franchise tag, they do have some time. They have until March the 7th. Now we do have the combine coming up as well. That's come really soon. That's going to be February 28th through March the 6th. So we got some time to kind of, look at players in the combine. If you guys do not have, the NFL Network or wherever they're broadcasting it, I'll definitely do my best to go ahead and keep you guys in the loop in terms of what I see, who I like, that type of stuff, because obviously the draft is coming pretty soon. So before the draft, we got free agency. That is going to be March the 15th. But I do know that the day before, we start kind of hearing rumblings about free agency and stuff like that. But that's going to be another big, date for you guys to kind of mark in your guys' calendar. Then we got the draft, which is the 27th to the 29th of April. And then we have schedule release. We already have the opponents that we're going to be playing for next year, but we do not have when the schedule release date is. I think I do remember last year it was sometime like in the teens of May. So just kind of look out for that. And once we kind of know specifically when that schedule is coming out, I'll definitely definitely going to keep you guys in the loop to kind of figure out who we're going to be playing in terms of what schedule is going to look like for the Arizona Cardinals. But for the most part, what I'm really excited to talk about here today is obviously the coaching staff, right? Who we have. And I really want to focus on the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, right? We already kind of talked about, Jonathan Gannon and how people feel. It's kind of mixed reviews, right? There's a lot of people that are already turned off on the season. I'm excited, right? I'm excited for a new opportunity. More than anything, I'm excited to see what our new leadership's going to do. Now, yes, I think if you ask the average Cardinal fan, most Cardinal fans think that we're going to be rebuilding, right? Like that seems to be the narrative coming into the 2023 season. But I mean, wasn't the Seahawks supposed to be rebuilding, right? They got rid of their franchise quarterback. They got a lot of young talent and they made it to the playoffs, right? So like anything's possible, right? Or at least they were close to making it to the play. I don't know. I'm sorry. They didn't make it to the playoffs. Wait, did they? But they were close, right? They were still a competitive team is what I'm trying to say. So who knows, right? Who knows once we bring the right people in, we don't really truly know what this is going to kind of look like moving forward. But I'm excited about, brand new leadership, everybody kind of coming in to kind of, see how this is all going to work out for the Cardinals. But let's dive right into what your guys' thoughts about Nick Rallis as well as the offensive coordinator in Drew Petzing. Let's dive right into it. Now, I was able to listen into both of the press conferences from both of them, right? If you didn't watch it, I highly recommend you, getting your own opinion on it. I believe we listened into Drew Petzing yesterday, and then it was Nick Rallis on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely, if you want to, look at the full interview, it is available on the Cardinals YouTube channel. But overall, I think both of them said all the right things, right? Whenever we're thinking about Jonathan Gannon, you can tell that Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing are Jonathan Gannon's guys. Like they automatically already have a rapport with each other. Like they seem to be very, very good with each other, right? They look to be working well with each other. And I think that's a big thing for this next leadership group coming into this next year is something to really kind of focus down on and making sure that they do work well with each other. And I'm glad that they do. Now, one of the biggest questions that was asked for, I believe both of them, was the idea of none of them having very much experience, right? Coming into this, to this role, right? Like they had experience within the NFL, but not within the specific role. So like our defensive coordinator, right, Nick Rallis, as well as our offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing, they're both new to that position, as well as head coach Jonathan Gannon, new to that position, as well as our GM, Monty Osenfor. He's new to that position as well. So there was those questions that were being asked to them. And I think a lot of them were kind of, answered with, as long as they have high, football IQs, high football, characteristics. I think, they're excited, right? Obviously, when you're getting promoted into those type of roles, you should be excited, right? It's definitely something you shouldn't be taking lightly, and I don't think they're going to. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. Yes, they're very young, right? Nick Rallis is 29 years old. That's really young when you're thinking of a coaching staff or somebody as high in a coaching staff as Nick Rallis is, right? As a defensive coordinator, he's young. 29 is young. Drew Petzing, 35, Jonathan Gannon at 40. And there was also that question as well as like, did you guys plan to go through like a young movement? I don't think it was anything where they were planning to like, let's go young. I just think it kind of happened, right? I think it just kind of happened. I think Jonathan Gannon knew who his guys were coming in. I think he automatically knew who his defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator was, and he was going to do his due diligence and continue to, also interview other people out there like defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators. But Drew Petzing's name has always been linked with Jonathan Gannon. If you Googled before he even got hired, right? And I even made a video about it saying that it honestly feels like Drew Petzing is going to be the guy. Now, I wanted Eric Bieniemy personally because I wanted to get a guy that wants to aspire to be a head coach, and we all know that didn't happen, right? We all know that didn't happen, and we kind of went through the young movement. So I'm not going to hang him, honestly. I understand there is a lot of worrisome from a lot of Cardinal fans. They're worried about, a lot of the youngness that we have coming into this year. But honestly, I'm coming in with, fresh mind with an open mind, and I'm coming in with the idea of let's see what they can do, right? Now you guys know me, or at least the people that been on this channel for quite some time. Coming into this next year is going to be year 5 of this AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Now granted, we've only been doing this like full time for like 6 months. So you guys know me, right? Where in terms of the videos that I posted, if I don't feel like it's working after year 2 or year 3, I'm going to let you guys know, right? I'm going to let you guys know, because I feel like that's plenty enough time to kind of know who this coaching staff is, what they're going to do, and if they're going to be a Super Bowl contending coaching staff for us, right? I kind of automatically knew. I knew Cliff Kingsbury wasn't going to be the guy after year 2. It's just, unfortunately, we had to go through the bumps and bruises because of progression. So I'm willing to provide them, right? Not trying to hang them. And the reason why I'm going through this is because every single time we're talking about, 2023, or when I post a video about 2023, I get a lot of comments of people saying, oh, well, it's no big deal, right? Because 2023 is a wash. Oh, it's no big deal because the Arizona Cardinals are going to suck next year, right? We're going to win 2 games, 3 games next year, right? We're going to win 5 games. We have a lot of fans saying stuff like that, and that's fine, right? Opinions are opinions, but honestly, I'm coming into this with a completely open mind, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Jonathan Gannon's going to do, right? I'm excited to see what, Drew Petzing as well as Nick Riley's is going to do coming into this year. So the excitement is coming from a brand new leadership. People making brand new decisions is where the excitement comes from, at least from my standpoint. Because I've gotten the comment before of like, oh, you're excited about it being a 2-win team, right? I've gotten those comments as well. And honestly, it's not about being a 2-win team or a 3-win team. It's about seeing a brand new leadership taking the reins of this Arizona Cardinal organization and hopefully steering it to the right direction. Like, that's what I'm excited about, right? So it comes with the bumps and bruises, right? Whenever you're rebuilding, you see 2 different sides of the coin. You either see it really work and you're like, wow, first year head coach, right? New coaching staff, and you're automatically going to the playoffs. Or you start seeing how the Arizona Cardinals rebuild, right? And the Arizona Cardinals usually rebuild in a way of 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins, and then we start seeing progression and stuff like that. So we'll see, right? We still have a long time away before, preseason and regular season kind of opens up, but I'm excited about new leadership and the direction of this Arizona Cardinal team kind of moving forward. So that's where the excitement comes from more than anything. So energy is definitely something that I feel like all of them are bringing, right? I think I got a little less energy from Drew Petzing, but I mean, honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I think Jonathan Gannon, JG, right? I think he wants to be known as JG, so we'll call him JG. He looks to be a guy that's very, very on top of things, as well as knowing that he is like knowing what's going on at all times, right? And especially, I think that's very important that he is bringing in his guys as well, because last thing you want to do is kind of, I don't know. I've seen in multiple different situations, right? With my own experience, with work, when you're coming in as a leadership, some people might have a very bad look looking your way because of, them feeling like they should have got promoted, or it's just like bad blood, right? So I'm kind of glad that we completely wiped it clean and we're starting off new. I think it's for the best, right? Because JG can, right? He can be able to get into the ear of the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, especially the defensive coordinator, right? And Nick Riley's, because he is a defensive minded head coach. I think it's very important for him to make sure that he is involved in the defense as well. But one thing that we also heard throughout this press conference is that Nick Riley's, our defensive coordinator, is going to be calling the defensive plays, right? That's huge. It's huge. And then obviously we got Drew Petzing going to be calling the offensive plays. That's huge. So JG, Jonathan Gannon, can be able to focus on the game, because there's so much more than just play calling in the middle of the 60 minutes when the game has actually happened, right? There's a lot of things to kind of focus down on, right? Focusing on the players, focusing on time management, focusing on a lot of different things to kind of making sure that this game goes unfolded, right? Or at least unfolds in the right direction. We've been victims of coaches trying to take way too much on that he just wasn't able to maneuver. I think one thing about being a great leader is also being able to lead, right? But also being able to delegate, right? I think that's a great thing about being a great leader, especially if you guys, right, in the chat, are in a supervisor manager type of role, you'll know this yourself as well, that being a great leader is great, right? You can't be, you know, always yelling and yelling. No, you should be able to aspire. You should be able to inspire people to make them want to do what you want, right? To make them see the vision that you're seeing, right? Also being able to delegate is huge, right? Because you only have two arms. You only have two arms. You're only one person. Although in your mind you want to do A, B, C, D, A, F, G, you want to do all these things, but it's sometimes very hard for you to be able to do that. And sometimes people take on too much being in that leadership role. So I'm glad. I'm glad that, JG is taking the, bull by the horns, and it seems like it's working. He's getting his people in, and that's one thing that I'm very, very excited about. What's up, Michael Evans? Appreciate the contribution, man, coming our way. First contribution of the day. He says accountability about time. Exactly. And this is another thing that we want to talk about, right? We've heard things from our defensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and offensive coordinator that what we expect, right? Something that we expect from the players. I don't think that players are used to that within the last 4 years of the Arizona Cardinal offense. I feel like people were making mistakes, but they weren't learning from the mistakes, right? Like, because there's one thing to say that you understand, right? That when somebody's talking to you, there's one thing to say that you understand, but to actually get it, and do it on the field is two different things, right? And I agree. I think accountability is something that we're going to be seeing a lot more, right? We're going to be seeing a lot more with Nick Riley, Drew Petzing, as well as with JG. So I'm excited, y'all. I'm very, very excited. What's up, RV Davey, coming out with another super chat. He says, I heard we are trying to trade DeAndre Hopkins to the Giants. Honestly, it's still up in the air. Honestly, to be honest with you, I think the DeAndre Hopkins thing is a real possibility. If the Cardinals do move off of DeAndre Hopkins, it's rebuild season, right? It's a no-brainer. It's rebuild season. Whether you like it or you don't, it's rebuild season. If DeAndre Hopkins does stay, I can still see this Arizona Cardinal team make some noise, right? And I'm not saying make some noise in terms of like, oh, we're going to be Super Bowl winning content. No, we're not like that. But we can make some noise if we keep DeAndre Hopkins. Because when they're healthy and when DeAndre Hopkins is playing all 17 games, we can make a mark. We truly can. So, there's a lot of kind of up in the air. Yes, I still do believe we are in rebuilding, but we'll be a lot better situation with DeAndre Hopkins than we would be without him, right? So if we are trading him to the Giants or any other team, I still think it's a real possibility that DeAndre Hopkins does go personally. It would make sense. It would suck to see him go. I don't want him to go. But, I mean, honestly, at this very moment, if we are in rebuilding, it would make sense for him to get traded. It sucks. I don't want it, but, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. What's up, AZ fan? He says, love the confidence in the new OC and DC. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Here's the situation that we're in right now, right? We're hearing a lot of people that are very negative, right? They're very negative and like not trying to give them a chance. For me, I'm about giving chances, right? It took 2 years for me to get to the level of where I was with Cliff, right? It took 5 to 6 years for me to get to the level. No, actually even less than that. By the time I even started my YouTube channel, I wanted Steve Keim gone, right? There hasn't been a lot of people that have been with this channel or subscribed with this channel for 4+ years, right? I made a video on year 1 saying that we should get rid of Steve Keim. So as far as I remember, I didn't want Steve Keim here. Like, I truly didn't. I did not want Steve Keim here at all. So I'm a big believer of allowing them to prove it, right? So that's where I guess the confidence is coming from, at least in my mind. There's no point in hanging somebody when we do not know what they're going to do, right? After year 1, if it looks like it's too much, I'll let you guys know, right? Now, granted, we're not going to be firing people unless it's absolutely a train wreck of a disaster, right? I don't think they're going to be firing JG after 1 year. Because if you think about it, Cliff's still on the payroll and JG just got a 5-year contract, right? So I don't see Michael Bidwell trying to pay 2 coaches and bringing somebody else in, right? But I will let you know. You know what I mean? I'll be the first to let you guys know, saying, hey, yeah, this isn't going to work, right? It's about progression. It's about making sure that when it works, right? But you could automatically know by year 1, by year 2, I'll know if this guy's going to get us a Super Bowl or not. Because we've seen coaches do very good things in year 1, right? We've seen it, right? Mike McDaniels, Kevin O'Connell, right? We've seen coaches come in year 1 and make a big difference. That's what I want to see. Now, I'm not expecting playoffs, right? Especially if this is a rebuild and we're trading away DeAndre Hopkins. I don't expect playoffs, but I expect 5, 6, 7 wins, right? I expect to get better and better and better and better as the time goes along and not start off good and regress, right? Because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So that's where my confidence is coming from. And I know there's some people out there that are like, oh my God, you're too positive about this season coming through. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. We wanted Cliff gone. We wanted Keim gone, right? So this is the bumps and bruises that we need to go to once we start off fresh. So, yes, Sean Payton wasn't attained. And yes, that hurt my soul, right? But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think we got to allow them to prove it, because it would be wonderful if they did. it would be absolutely wonderful if they did. So yes, they are young. Yes, they don't have the experience in their current roles right now, but that's where my confidence comes from in terms of excited about giving them the opportunity, right? If that makes sense. So I'm not going to hang somebody like Monty Ossenfort. The guy didn't do anything. The guy, people were trying to say, oh, wasn't this the guy that traded away AJ Brown? He was in the front office. He probably wasn't the guy with the hand in the cookie jar, right? It was probably John Robinson. That's probably why he got fired. Jonathan Robinson, I think that's his name, the former GM of the Titans. So people are automatically trying to hang Monty Ossenfort for being involved in the Titans organization and being in the front office. I don't think it was him solely trading away AJ Brown, right? So we got to allow it to work, right? And we got free agency coming our way. We got the who are we going to retain coming our way. And then on top of that, we got the draft. So we got a lot to we got a lot of things to obviously talk about, because these next 2 months, believe it or not, and I know we're in the off season, are going to be busy. Are going to be a busy 2 months. We got the start of the combine happening here pretty soon. I believe it's next Tuesday. Next Tuesday was when the combine starts, ladies and gentlemen. So we got a very busy 2 months coming our way with the combine, with the draft. And then obviously May through June, May through July is going to be that dead period, which will most likely take a break. And then we'll kind of start it back up with preseason. So it's going to come faster than you think. It's going to come faster than you guys think. So I'm excited. Let's see here. Exactly. So we have somebody in the chat says, I don't care how many wins we get this year, as long as we see that towards the end of the year. That's what I'm saying. Progression, right? That's what you want to see. You want to see your team get better and better and better. You want to see your players buying in. That's exactly what I'm about too. I'm right there with you as well. So a lot of great things coming ahead for the NFL. Just because it's the offseason doesn't mean we stop making content when we're still throwing stuff out there. But yeah, I think excitement all around, right? I think JG, Petsing, as well as Rallies is in a good spot. They seem to really like each other, and I'm excited to see how that's going to work out. So let me ask you guys this. It's not free agency, but I'm talking about like the top 3 people that everybody's talking about, right? And that's either keeping, right? Letting go, like letting them walk. So I want to talk real quick about Zach Allen, Byron Murphy, and Greg Dortch. Is there any other players right now, with the exceptions of these 3 players right now, Allen, Byron, and Dortch, that you want to make sure that the Arizona Cardinals retain heading into the 2023 season? Or if you don't want Dortch, let me know in the chat. If you don't want Byron Murphy, let me know in the chat. If you don't want Zach Allen, let me know in the chat. But is there any other players that are going to be unrestricted free agents that are absolutely a must keep, right? Obviously, we're going to keep a lot more than just these 3. It's going to happen. I'm not saying we're only keeping 3, right? I'm just saying like these are the must 3 in my eyes. Is there any other people that are going to be hitting the unrestricted free agent market this coming free agency that you want the Arizona Cardinals to absolutely must keep, right? We heard some rumors about Rodney Hudson might retire. I heard something like after June, something is like what it was the beginning of June, being that he might retire, stuff like that. So we have somebody in the chat says keep Allen and Murphy for sure. Dortch and Murphy. So here's the thing too, right? Because Zach Allen and Byron Murphy seems to be the consensus amongst most of the Cardinal fans that they want to keep them, right? Like it's a must. You must keep both of these two, right? Dortch is kind of a, we've seen good things from him, but as long as Rondo Moore is there, it sucks to say that Dortch might not have a fair opportunity. Now, whether that's the way that JG plays it or not, right? That's we got to see, right? It's a wait and see type of thing. I would still love to bring Greg Dortch back, but I do believe that A and B or 1 and 2 is Allen and Byron, right? Either you say Byron 1 or 2 Allen, it doesn't matter. Now, there is some conversations about if we do not bring back a Zach Allen back, which would suck, right? Because he is a guy that's drafted to the Arizona Cardinals. It would suck. But, there is other defensive tackles, right, inside the this free agency market, right? Javon Hargrave, right? Stuff like that. People that were in the Philadelphia Eagles that might have some sort of connection with JG. So it's kind of up in the air right now, right? It's kind of up in the air. We got somebody in the chat says Banjo. Yes, Banjo has been gone. I did make a post about it on my Instagram. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I gave you the news on those that are not really video worthy, just FYI. But yes, Banjo is gone. He did end up getting cut. I believe it was yesterday. So that was our veteran safety. He ended up getting cut. So we might start hearing more and more players get cut as when we get closer to, free agency. So just kind of keep in mind of that. Somebody in the chat says Will Hernandez. Okay, so Will Hernandez might be a guy. I mean, as long as he can stay healthy, to me, Will Hernandez is better. I guess we are obviously better with Will Hernandez than we are without, right? We don't really have anybody that's going to be like, oh, he's going to be the guard to, plug and play. So, I mean, if he is at a cheap deal, I would be cool with it. I think Pugh is looking for a team that's going to be competitive or contending. There was an interview that came out that says that's what he's going to be looking for this free agency. He's not retiring, but he is going to be looking for a team that's going to be competitive and going to be competing. Now, whether that's the Cardinals or whether he feels like it's the Cardinals or not, we'll have to kind of wait and see. But there are going to be a lot of offensive linemen that are up in the air, right? Even Kelvin Beachum is one of those that we want to bring back, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. What's up, No F's Given? He says, I want Will. He's a guy that will fight for his QB. Will Hernandez, right? I'm assuming you're talking about Will Hernandez. Yeah, I like Will Hernandez as a person. It's just, and he was doing decent. He was doing good, right? When he was healthy. It's just the injury bug hurt everybody. And I felt like our offensive line was just, it was bad. It was really, really bad. So yeah, I mean, if we can in a small deal, that would be really ideal. Justin Pugh, to me, I feel like he's as good as gone. I don't know if he believes or he thinks that we are going to be a competitive team, right? I think he's looking into getting a team that's going to be more competitive than the Cardinals. And if you think about it, most people don't think we're going to be a competitive team. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's keep a look at the chat. Allen has made a lot of improvement in the past 2 years or so. So I would be so sad if we let him walk. To be honest with you, now that JJ Watt is gone and he's retired, I think it does push the Cardinals to make a move in terms of trying to retain Zach Allen. Now, if we did get a Jalen Carter, oh my goodness, Jalen Carter and Zach Allen on the same defensive line on the interior, oh, that would be wonderful. That would be great. That would be fantastic, right? Now, obviously, honestly, I'm so conflicted between the Jalen Carter and Will Anderson thing. I really do hope that the Chicago Bears takes one of them so we don't have to ever think like, oh, we should have got him over this person, right? I think realistically, I think the Chicago Bears might be trading out of that number 1 spot, but we better be announcing either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson on that 3rd overall spot. Now, if they trade back, then we'll see what happens there. But dang, I know I'm already jumping into the draft. I shouldn't be jumping. That's way too far. But yeah, Continuing to talk about Zach Allen, I do think it's a must, right? I do think it's a must because if you think about it, like we have the players that we have now. Granted, yes, Licky Fotu is more of a interior nose tackle, more than anything. Licky Fotu and Rashad Lawrence as well, but like I don't know, like they're good, but shoot, Jalen Carter would be like, woo, he would make that way better, way better. But Zach Allen, either Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, and the young kids that we have coming up as well, right? Your Majay, your Cam, your Victor Demikishi. I'm excited to see how they're going to get more reps, right? Now, Marcus Golden, I believe he's under one more year, but I think he's going to be time for him to maybe take a swing role, maybe edge by committee type of guy. He's getting up there, and I don't think he was very, very productive this last year, although we all like the junkyard dog, and I do want him to stay. But I don't know. With the young people that we have, I'm more excited about seeing what Majay is going to do and Cam Thomas more than anything. So we'll see. Now, Byron, I feel like Byron Murphy, on the other hand, I think Byron Murphy is a must too. Like, if you look at our cornerback core, it's bad, man. It's not that great. Like, it's not good at all. We have a lot of people that are fringe practice squad, third cornerbacks on an average roster, right? A third or fourth cornerbacks on an average roster, right? That's what we kind of have. And right now, who we know that most likely will be coming back next year is Marco Wilson, is the number one person that I can think of that is going to be coming back because he's still under his rookie deal. But like, we need to make sure that this cornerback position gets solidified. Like, since last year, we were talking about our cornerback and how scary our cornerback position looks like because we never gotten a high round cornerback in the draft, right? We got a second rounder in Byron, which is a high one. I guess you can call that high, right? But a lot of positions that we've been ignoring in the Keim era was offensive line, cornerback, and defensive tackle, right? Or defensive lineman, right? In terms of the top ones. Now, usually they go very, very high, and that might be one of those scenarios where that's the reason why the Arizona Cardinals couldn't get the top tier guy. But now we have an opportunity, right? We have an opportunity here. So I think Allen and Byron Murphy is a must. More Byron Murphy than Allen, personally, because even if you can land at Hargraves, right? Javon Hargraves over Allen, that would be kind of cool. But I think Byron Murphy is a must. I just imagine him not being here, and we got Marco Wilson and then the average schmoes. I just, our cornerbacks are going to be suffering drastically. So to me, if I were to look at this list right here, I would say Byron Murphy is number one, must. Zach Allen, number two, must. Greg Dortch, I like him. I truly do. I probably wouldn't say he's a must, but I really do like what he does. He's kind of 50-50 for me because I really do like Greg Dortch. And somebody was like, did you go to high school with him at one point? Like, I was talking so highly about Greg Dortch and everybody was like kind of, coming at me and stuff like that. But it's not that I don't know this guy personally, but I just like the way he plays. I feel like at one point he was the best wide receiver when everybody was hurt. So we'll see. What's up, Michael? Appreciate the contribution. He says, we didn't develop any young players and no depth. So injury came and it was over. Facts. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We were so darn, what's the word? We were so damn top heavy, right? That when it happened and when we started to get injured, right? Especially on the offensive line, it was no hope. You're right. You're absolutely right. There was no hope for the Arizona Cardinals because when injuries started plaguing the Cardinals, right, from the top, it just kind of went downhill from there. So, I've done some most recent mock drafts that I'm like, I feel like we can address a lot of good pieces on terms of where we are at with the pieces that we can get. Now, granted, yes, we have 32 big boards out there, right? And when I'm doing these mock drafts, it's me versus a simulation, right? So I feel like we can address a lot of these needs for this, draft, but I get it. You don't want to come into the draft thinking needs, right? You want to go best player available, which we actually did hear that is going to change come 2024. I'm not sure if you guys heard the report about that, but I heard that might change come in 2024. And what I'm only assuming is best player available might not be what they're looking for. Although, yes, they are looking for that. They're also looking for high character, right? People that want to be great, people that put team first, people that are great in the locker room. So they're really starting to look at the other side of it. Yes, you could be a great football player, but I mean, if you don't have, what it takes to be a great person in the locker room, I don't, it's going to be a big deal come 2024. So we'll see. I'm excited. What's up, AZ? He says main position group to fill, cornerback, then D-line. Dude, cornerback is scary, bro. Like it's bad. If we don't bring Byron Murphy, it's bad. I mean, push the panic button is bad. If you're playing fantasy football and you're playing against the Cardinals, bring their wide receivers in because it's going to be bad out here. But you're right. I think cornerback is huge, right? So there is those fans that are saying trade back your third pick, get some more picks, get a cornerback, get a tackle, get a defensive lineman, which you can, right? You definitely can do that. Yeah, I think cornerback is very scary, very, very scary heading into this year, and I hope we can address it. We were hearing a lot that we were gonna do a big move, right? A big move for the cornerback, and we brought in what? Trayvon Mullen. Dude didn't do anything. But it wasn't just Trayvon Mullen. It was most people that we traded for didn't do squat, right? Your Cody Ford, nothing, right? Trayvon Mullen, he was okay, right? Robbie Anderson, I always forget we have Robbie Anderson. That's how bad he did. So it's like, yeah, it's bad out here. So going back to this list, I think Byron Murphy is the number one person we need to bring back. And I know he flourishes in the slot. He had some time on the outside. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? We got a new coaching staff. Maybe he can develop his skills to be the number one cornerback on the outside, right? So we'll see. Byron, number one for me. Zach Allen, number two for me. And then Greg Dortch is not a must, but I would rather have him than not have him. If I can say that. I think he's a baller. I think he's very, very good. So the name that's I forgot he changed his name to Chosen. Yeah, that's odd. So we'll that's weird. And see, and I forgot about that too. It's one of those things where it's just like, I mean, he's there, he's on the roster, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens though. The question says, I thought Anderson was gone, going back to college. I did see that there was a post on his Instagram about that. I don't think he's completely saying that he's gone from like football, but I think he's taking his education serious, which I think he's going to go back to school. But you could also go online, right? You can also go online and also still maintain a job as well. So now, granted, yes, football is different than a regular 9-to-5 job, and I'm right there with you. But I don't know. I mean, as of right now, I believe he's still under contract. I think he's under one more year. But if the Cardinals don't want to bring him back, he could probably get cut. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Let's see here. O-line and D-line needs upgrades. Oh, factual. Oh, that's very true. Yeah, we need the same upgrades that we needed last year. When we were doing these live streams and we were talking about it, it's the exact same things. Nothing's different. Cornerback, offensive line, defensive line. It's the same darn thing. So there's that, right? Now let's venture into the free agency market here real quick, right? Let's talk about the free agency market. Now, we've already know that the free agency market doesn't look as great in terms of wide receivers. So if we do lose DeAndre Hopkins this year, it's going to be pretty bad in the wide receivers as well. Yes, we have Marquise still, but he's not a number one wide receiver. He isn't. So free agency, right? Let's dip our toes into this a little bit. Now, we don't have a lot of money, right? We don't have a lot of money, but we can make money. If Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenfort choose to do so, we can make money. We can make more cap room, right? Top 50 people, right, that are 50 available players right now per this list that I'm looking at. Lamar Jackson, no chance in heck. I don't think we're getting him. Caleb McGarry, offensive tackle out of the Falcons, 27 years old. Maybe you can land somebody like that. Daniel Jones, I mean, that's not going to happen. I think he's going to go back to the Giants. Jason Kelsey, 35 years old, but he's a center. 35. Josh Jacobs, 24. Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive tackle. Jesse Bates, Geno Smith, Javon Hargrave, which I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans out there that would love Javon Hargrave to come to the Arizona Cardinals. A, he played for the Eagles. B, who is on the Eagles now? Jonathan Gannon, right? JG. So we'll see, right? Javon Hargrave would be huge. 29 years old. Definitely a great defensive tackle. We'll see what happens there. I think the Arizona Cardinals should at least humor it, but I get the sense of, hey, we're in rebuilding. We're trying to save money until next year. So we'll see there. Orlando Brown Jr., offensive tackle. We got another center, Ethan Posick from the Browns. Brandon Ingram, he's kind of up there in age, 34. Jimmy Ward. Saquon Barkley, I forgot he's going to be a free agent. He's 25 years old. James Bradberry from the Eagles, 29. At one point, I wanted James Bradberry under the Arizona Cardinals way before the Eagles got him. I believe he played for the Giants before I'm not mistaken, and I was already trying to bring him to the Cardinals, but it just never happened. Jamil Dean, Tremont Edmonds, right? James Bradberry, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Jones, Dalton Schultz, Mike McGlinchey, Isaiah Oliver. So, I mean, there's some people out there, right? Patrick Peterson's available in case anybody's interested about bringing Patrick Peterson back. I doubt anybody wants to bring Patrick Peterson back. But, yeah, I mean, free agency is going to be interesting. And I think we'll know. Once we kind of find out if the Cardinals are going to be making some cap room, we'll know, right? If the Arizona Cardinals decide to move off of DeAndre Hopkins, we'll know. If we're going to be buyers. Because I can still see a world where we do trade DeAndre Hopkins. We open up a little bit of cap. But I think the best way to get DeAndre Hopkins like more money is to extend him and just basically move your money around, right? Move the money around. The bonus would be more of a front-loaded type of thing, and then move the money around as opposed to just trading them away. But I know draft capital is going to be a pretty big thought heading into this year, so we'll see. We'll see. Somebody said JG's going to make move. I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see. Somebody's on P3, Petty Patrick Peterson. Love it. Hargraves, somebody says, yeah, I think Hargraves honestly is going to be I think Hargraves is going to be the person that a lot of people want, right? I think that's the big name out there, and because he is linked with Jonathan Gannon, and I mean linked because they played with each other, right? So I'm not saying linked like, oh, we've heard anything, but because of that, it's interesting. Now, another person that's a young, defensive player, Daron Payne. I feel like, honestly, if I would have to choose between the two, I would choose Daron Payne because he's young. Yes, he would be a lot of money, right? But I think Daron Payne, to me, would be really huge for the Arizona Cardinals to possibly land if we can, right? Now, I get it. Money. Cap. I know. I think Daron Payne would be huge, and I would take Daron Payne over Hargraves, personally. I like Hargraves. I really do. But Daron Payne would be the guy that I really want. Right when the trade deadline was happening, I was like, you got to get him. You got to trade for Daron Payne. You need to do it. And it just never happened because the Cardinals sucked. So, let's see here. We have something in the chat. It's going to be a rebuilding mode. Honestly, it can be. I think more yes than no, right? I would say 65% yes, it is going to be a rebuilding. And the reason why I'm leaving that 35% there is because I'm curious to figure out what's going to happen with DeAndre Hopkins. If DeAndre Hopkins gets traded, we're in full-on rebuild. This is rebuild. Watch out, right? That's what I'm waiting for. If we keep DeAndre Hopkins doesn't want to go through a rebuild. DeAndre Hopkins wants to win a championship, right? So we might be looking at this team as more of a retool. Now, granted, it's different where we say it's a retool and then the production comes out and we actually are a crappy team, right? So we'll see, but I would say 65% yes, we are in a rebuild. My full 100% goal will go all in once the Arizona Cardinals decide what they're going to do with Hop. If Hop stays, I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to want to go through a rebuild. Personally, I don't think he wants to. So that's obviously a storyline that we're going to be following very, very closely. Because if he does go, oof. If he does go, then oof. Then that's full on. Let's rebuild this bad boy up. Let's build this bad boy up. So it's kind of one of those things. I'm just waiting for the Hop news. Now, I think the last we've heard from DeAndre Hopkins is that Monty Ossenfort and him had a very good conversation with each other. But there hasn't really been anything about his future. Now, whether you believe that or whether you don't believe that, I don't believe it. I think that they automatically already low. No, I'm sorry. I think they automatically know already what Monty Ossenfort is going to do with D Hop, right? I think they know either he's staying or he's going, right? But this is not the time to, or at least in February is not the time to try to trade him. In March is when we're going to really figure out what's going to happen with Hop. You get more value from him, I believe, now than you would in the trade deadline in season. So if you are going to move off of him, you might as well just rip it off like a band-aid and move off of him. I don't want to. Trust me, I don't want to. But, the realism is we might be a rebuilding team. So how many wins? Honestly, it's so hard to say how many wins we're going to have because free agency and the draft still hasn't happened. If I were to put a number right now in the roster that we have, the issue is that there is over 30 plus people in a 53-man roster 30 plus people on a 53-man roster is going to be set to be free agents, unrestricted free agents too. So it's so hard to put a number on there because we don't know what this Arizona Cardinal team is going to look like. Right? We might just bring back 10 people out of the 30. We might just bring back 15 out of those 30, right? So it's so hard to put a number on there. What we know now is we have D-Hop. We know we have our franchise quarterback in Kyler. We know we have Marquise Hollywood Brown. We know we have James Conner, right? We know we have that, but the big focal pieces that we have, we don't know what this 53-man roster is going to look like. Or at least 50% of this 53-man roster is going to look like, right? We probably know 30%, 45%. We don't know. There's a lot of unknown. So it's hard for me to put a number on there. If we can win somehow 7, dude, that would be ideal. That'd be awesome. And I think that would change the narrative a lot with JG because if this is truly a rebuilding mode, right? A rebuilding team, huge. 7 wins would be absolutely huge. Yes, we'll probably miss the playoffs, but hey, it's a step in the right direction, right? So it's so hard to kind of put a number on there right now. Ask me after the draft or maybe even ask me after free agency. Then I'll kind of know a little bit more to kind of put a number on there. Because this year's schedule is going to be pretty tough too. It's going to be a pretty tough schedule. So we'll see. Yeah, we got a lot of unrestricted free agents coming our way, and we're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of people. I fear. So even if you think about it this way too, like Zach Allen, right? Zach Allen, Byron Murphy, like we were talking about them a little earlier. Byron Murphy might want to win too, he might not want to stay. So I don't know. It's a lot of unknown. It's a lot of unknown right now. Let's see here. We got these people in the chat. Somebody says 3-0 start, 8-9 end. I mean, well, that will put us at a 11-9 season. Sheesh. We got my guy over here. Is it Vandenberg? Vandenberg. Oof. He's giving us 11 wins. Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, we've seen teams, right? We've seen teams do very good with year one coaches, right? Now, granted, they didn't go through full rebuilds, right? GM, brand new coaching staff. So a lot is stacked up against the Cardinals right now. Let's just say that. A lot is stacked up against the Cardinals. Let's see here. What's up? Since Benjamin Albright said top pick is likely traded, second and third wouldn't be a surprise. You mean the very first pick? Yeah, I can see Chicago trading it. Oh, absolutely. Because if you think about it, if Chicago trades to the Colts, that is the best case scenario for the Chicago Bears. Think about it. If they trade it to the Colts, so the Colts go number 1 to get the very first pick of whatever quarterback they want, right? And the Chicago Bears go to the 4, they still, with the understanding that the Texans is also going to go in quarterback too, right? So we got to understand that as well. But they still get one of the top 2 best defensive prospects coming into this year's draft, and they get a boatload of picks. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see what happens. I don't think the Chicago Bears is going to trade away Justin Fields, although we're hearing that big narrative out there, right? We're hearing a lot of those rumors. But think about it, we heard a lot of the same rumors with all these drafts, right? Especially when you're on the top 3, top 4, top 5 picks. There's so many rumors that are coming along with your name. So we'll see. Let's see here. I'm seeing a different QB going number 1. You mean out of the top 3? To the Chicago Bears, or you're saying that like the Chicago Bears are going to trade away? And somebody said until we try. Oh, we better not. So here's the thing, and I made a video about this Tyree Wilson and Will Anderson debate. Right now, the Jalen Carter and Will Anderson debate is different. It's a different debate. It's night and day different debate. Different. But the Tyree Wilson to Will Anderson and pick number 3 is absolutely crazy to me. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. There's no way that the Arizona Cardinals should get Tyree Wilson with the 3rd overall pick. There's no way in heck that the Cardinals should do that. If they want Tyree Wilson, if they like Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson, you need to trade out of that 3rd overall pick. If they do that, oh my goodness gracious. I don't even know what I would do at that moment. I do not know what I would do at that moment. But yeah, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, completely different debate. And I think most Cardinal fans are either 50-50. But Tyree to Will Anderson, that shouldn't even be a question. Shouldn't even be a question. Somebody says, what's wrong with Tyree? There's nothing wrong with Tyree. It's just you don't get Tyree at the 3rd overall. That's what we're saying. There's nothing wrong with Tyree. If you want Tyree, trade your pick. Like, that's what you need to do. Accumulate draft picks, because getting him at the number 3rd overall spot over Will Anderson Jr., which is going to be a bona fide stud, it just makes you look very dumb. Makes you look very, very dumb. You could probably get Tyree with the 6th overall pick, with the 7th overall pick, right? Because I think 7, 8, 9, you might have quarterback needy teams. There might be people saying that the Falcons might not go quarterback, but we'll see. But you just don't do that. You just don't do that. Let's see here. Just no to Wilson. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. I think my optimism would be just like it probably get thrown out the window. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, that would be where I'm like, wow, and you messed it up. That's where I would be at. I don't even know what I would do if the Arizona Cardinals chose to do that. I don't know what I would do. Honestly, that would be rough. Let's see here. I would rather have, yes, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. That's the mindset. At the 3rd overall spot, that should be the mindset. And truly, if the Chicago Bears trade away that pick, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have both of them falling on your lap. If the Colts or any other people, right? Any other people that are quarterback needy teams get the Chicago Bears pick, that's quarterback. The Arizona Cardinals now have the option to either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. You got to. You got it. That would be ideal. That would be the dream, right? Or, hear me out here, or you have a quarterback needy team going number 1 overall, and I say maybe the Panthers or the Raiders, they take that Chicago Bears spot, right? Chicago Bears move back, get a lot of picks. The Arizona Cardinals can play devil's advocate, can go ahead and try to say things to the Colts like, hey, we got a lot of people trying to get our 4th overall spot. What say you? We convince that the Colts get that number 3 spot. We go to the number 4 spot. We get some more picks, and then we get still those quarterbacks of the future. Because if they go quarterback, we still have those guys falling on our lap. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of up in the air right now. A lot of up in the air. Let's see here. Yeah, if the Bears trade down, that would be great opportunity for the Cardinals for Will. Yes, exactly. Let's see here. Yeah, if Will Anderson goes first, right? Let's say the Bears stay, right? Let's say the Bears stay at number 1 and they go either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. Then the Arizona Cardinals have the option to get that number 3rd spot. One of the two, right? One of the two is going to be there. If the Texans mess this up for everybody and they don't go quarterback, then we trade that pick to a quarterback needy team, right? Let's say, for example, the Chicago Bears don't trade out and they go Will Anderson. And let's say the Texans mess it up for everybody and they go Jalen Carter. The Arizona Cardinals are now sitting in a prime spot with none of the top 2 defensive linemen, but the very first quarterback can be picked with the 3rd overall spot. Then you start making calls. Then you start moving that pick away and you try to see what you can do. And if you want Tyree Wilson, you can get him. If you want the best tackle, you can get him. If you want the best cornerback, you can get him, right? So that's when it starts opening up here for the Arizona Cardinals. If the Texans mess this up for us, I do think they're going to get quarterback, though. I do think they're going to get a quarterback, but you never know. You never know what's going to happen. It's wild. We got Michael saying lots of beer. Yes. Yeah, a lot of beer, a lot of alcohol would be how I would be living my life with the Arizona Cardinals with on this draft. Because I feel like it's right there. It's like in their lap. You know what I mean? It's on their lap. What's up, Vanessa? Why not keep Torch? We may have a competent offensive coordinator that will find a way to use him and run down more. Can you imagine our receiving room? Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if you think about it, I still think our receiving room is great. Right? It's great. The idea of rebuilding is because of Kyler Murray, right? Think about it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Before I let you go, our hour mark is about to hit. I'd say these hours go by so quick. Think about it this way. Let me just put this little seed right there. There was a report that came out from Michael Bidwell that said that Kyler Murray was progressing well, right? Now, please keep in mind that the date of October was set by doctors' projection, right? Now, yes, doctors will listen to them, right? For sure. But it's a projection. Kyler Murray is young. Kyler Murray's body can heal. Joe Burrow healed. Kyler Murray can heal. He could heal fast. We still have 6 months, 5-6 months before the start of, week 1. Right now they're saying October, right? But if Kyler Murray can come back, this might not be a rebuilding season. If DeAndre Hopkins stays back, then we have DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Hollywood Brown. We got Rondell Moore. If hopefully we bring back Greg Dortch, we have a very good wide receiving core. We have a very good tight end core. We have Zach Ertz. We got Trey McBride that was starting to kind of come into his own, right? We just got to build what we kept saying that we needed to build: our offensive line, our cornerback, and defensive line. That's what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? So if, and I know this is a big if, right? Big if. But Michael Bidwell did say that Kyler Murray is progressing very, very well. He's not going to put a timetable on, which he shouldn't put a timetable on, but you never know. You never know. Then this year would go maybe not rebuilding mode. So we'll see. I hope the Arizona Cardinals still attacks this offseason smartly, right? Because free agency is huge. Retaining the players that we have is huge. The draft is huge. So I still want the Arizona Cardinals to tackle this offseason very, very, smartly, right? But let's say Kyler Murray does come back. Let's say he misses 2 games, 3 games, right? Let's say Kyler Murray comes back in the beginning of October. That's 3 games missed. Only 3 games missed. With DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and Kyler Murray and James Conner in the back. Come on. That offense is booming. Obviously, we need to fix our offensive line, right? That's got to be a must. I think it could happen. See, here we go. I got Arjun. What's up, brother? Here, I'm going to pin this. And I usually only do super chats, but this is important. Because you're right, Arjun. I appreciate you for letting me know this too. Because if you think about it here, ladies, it depends. Everybody is different. Everybody is different, ladies and gentlemen. My guy Arjun here says, when I tore my ACL, it took me months to get to the point where I was doing stuff on the bike that we saw Kyler doing. He's definitely on the right track. Facts. And that's the thing too. Do you see Kyler Murray's workout? He was like, he was on that bike. Kyler Murray is putting in the work. He's still walking on a limp, but that's normal. This man tore his ACL. So I appreciate you, Arjun. I mean, I never had anything like that, and I'm glad, it all healed and everything is good for you, but you're right. The things that we're seeing Kyler Murray do right now is huge. It's a step in the right direction. It truly is. We got to build our offensive line. We got to build our defense. Okay, let's put it this way. We got to build our trenches. Build our trenches, and we got to build our cornerback core. Hey, honestly, Kyler Murray comes back. Ooh, it's on. Ooh, it's on. It's on. I'm excited. Somebody in the chat says 2-win season. Sheesh. I'm excited. I'm excited. Brand new regime, brand new everything. Let's get this going, y'all. Let's get this going. All right, y'all, we have hit the hour mark. If you guys haven't already done so, definitely do me a huge favor. Smack the like button. We got over 116 people in the chat right now. Definitely go and smack up the like button. Appreciate you guys for coming through. We will be ending the stream here pretty soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, right? This is Friday, just kind of a relaxed type of stream more than anything. We covered, optimism, right, for the new coaching staff. Yes, they're young, right, but we covered them. We talked about who we must keep for our own players, or if there's any other musts out there. Talked a little bit about free agency. Nothing too crazy out there, but I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited about this venture that we're going on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, smack up that like button. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We will be closing up shop right here. Thank you so very much for coming through. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. If you didn't, hey, it's not for everybody. Definitely shout out to my my sponsor here, Underdog Fantasy. Go ahead and use code AZSF. Download the Underdog Fantasy app today and start trying to see if you can win some money. But if you do use promo code AZSF, they will match your deposit up to $100. So just kind of keep that in mind in case you need a little bit more money to try to see if you guys can win some games. All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day and go Cards.